Let's go.
What's good, Raiders? Yeah.
Yeah, man. We needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed that one, boy. We
Back
needed
to
that
back.
one.
Back-to-back wins, man. Hey, man, Raider fans, man, I know y'all excited right now. Man, we are excited. We had to go live. Usually, we are on our little schedule that we usually do, but today we had to go live. We had to talk to Raider Nation, man. Raider Ray, man, like, hey, what a game.
Finally, man.
Back-to-back
There's a
wins,
lot of
back-to-back
achievements.
overtime games, you know what I'm saying? And they win in just amazing fashion, you know what I mean? With Devontae Adams, another player on the team that won with a game winner, and then you got Josh Jacobs with an 86-yard touchdown, longest touchdown in his career. You know how I know that? I've been watching him since he got drafted, and he's never had a 50-yard touchdown before that play. You know what I mean? I'm excited, man. I'm hyped, man. But what were your thoughts of the game, man?
Hey, man, in big-time moments, big-time players step up and make plays. Back-to-back overtime wins. You got a Devontae Adams, and then you got Josh Jacobs. And let's not forget, man, Max Crosby. On key downs when the Raiders defense needed to get off the field, especially in crucial moments, heading into overtime at the end of the game to kind of keep them out of field goal range. Max Crosby stepped up, man, got the job done. Huge shout out to the entire Raiders organization. Josh McDaniels, hats off to you, man. Dave Ziegler, Champ Kelly, you guys got this locker room bought in, man. We were wrong, so I'll humbly eat crow on that. I love the fight in this team.
Man, hey, Josh Jacobs had the man. He had that moment. He had that moment in the game, man. Hey, I was just hyped, but I'm hyped to talk to y'all, man, about the game, man. It was a crazy game. McDaniels, I remember we were talking back and forth. He called a great game. He called a great game. That being said, there were some moments where he got a little too cute, but we were able to overcome that. Derek Carr was able to overcome the 2 interceptions. But what's funny? Even though he threw the 2 picks, you could just tell by his body language, like, we're good.
No, and you could tell by the course of the game, like he threw the 2 picks, we were still down like by a field goal. You could tell the offense was calm. It wasn't they were down 17 points and he's causing turnovers. It just felt like early on, it felt like one of those games like, hey, chill out. Everybody's going to settle down. This is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a close one all the way down to the end. And it was, man. It was a huge thriller, huge win for the Raiders. And look, before you know it, man, just like last year, they go on a little run. Everything is possible at this point, man. Hey, look, the Colts were in the hunt at 4-6-1. The Raiders now have 4 wins. If they could go out there and beat the Chargers next week, and we'll get into that on Tuesday's show. But man, the Raiders have now put themselves in a position that if they could start continuing to stack wins, their name is at least going to be in the conversation.
Facts, 100%, man. Hey, and Derek Carr had 3 touchdowns. First time in 2
years.
Hey,
where's the horns at on that one? We need the horns on that one.
First time in 2 years. Hold on.
Yes, finally, bro. Gosh, we've been talking about it for weeks. He needs to get to that 3 mark, and he finally did it today, man. So shout out to DC.
Yeah, man, 100%, man. Like, hey, look, like, oh man, I'm excited, man. Like, usually I'm over here telling you like my thoughts of the game because I haven't looked at the stats, I haven't looked at anything. It's just a pure reaction after the game. I know me and Ray like, hey, we got to go live. We had to go live, and we are live right now. And man, like, just watching the game, like, you could just tell by the energy about this team, like. It was a good energy, you know what I mean? Other games this year, you could just tell the body language is off. The players were really into it. But the last 2 weeks, I don't know what it was. You can point to Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr, you got to point to Derek Carr when he had that post-game reaction where he was basically emotional. Ever since then, this whole locker room has been chanting his name. They've been he's and hey, shout out to Mark Davis too. You know what I mean? He kind of like established like, hey, Josh McDaniels is here to stay. He's not going nowhere. And he doubled down, tripled down, whatever you want to call it. And the players right now, they're playing with a certain type of energy. Man, Max Crosby, there's so many different MVPs in this game. You know what I mean? Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. He just shows up on Sunday and just take care.
I've never seen a player put a football player in a chicken wing.
And they didn't call no penalty.
I know, and they were holding his hand. Oh, bro. Shout out to all the players, man. Okay. All this talk about Josh Jacobs straining his calf and finishes the game with 303 all-purpose yards.
Mhm.
303 all-purpose yards, bro. Like, the dude was putting in absolute work. You're talking about Max Crosby stepped up in a big-time moment.
Mhm.
DC rallying this locker room the last 2 weeks. Man, the needle is pointing in the right direction, and this is exactly what the Raiders organization need. It was a hard time there on that losing stretch. Everybody pointing the fingers at Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis, everybody calling for his head, and next thing you know, they go and rally off 2 big overtime wins. And for a second there, I was pretty cautious because the Denver Broncos just got destroyed today, and it
Mhm.
wasn't very good. So it kind of made that Raiders overtime win kind of look not so spectacular.
Mhm.
But going into Seattle, going against actually a really good football team. How about this run defense, boy? What about the conversation we had about selling out to stop the run? And they did that. Kenneth Walker had like 30 yards. A guy who has been just tearing the league up, just taking the league by storm. And the Raiders defense went in there. Andrew Billings, another guy that nobody's talking about. Andrew Billings showed up big when it came to run defense. Like, this defense showed up to play. They were aggressive. They were opportunistic in creating turnovers.
Yeah.
And every time the offense needed the ball back, the defense stepped up, which is exactly what we were looking for.
Exactly what we expected before the season started. We wanted obviously we expected the offense to put up points. That's what we expected. That didn't happen majority of the season, but it happened today on Sunday. Great game, overtime win. If y'all joining us, if y'all missed the game, the Raiders won in overtime with a Josh Jacobs 86-yard touchdown, man, over there flying like an eagle, flying like a hawk, whatever they want to call themselves, man. Hey, I'm I love the look of the road fans. When you watch your team win on the road, the look of the opposing fans, I don't know why I enjoy it. I'm like, yep,
No,
we
I do
came in
too.
there,
You
we
know
took that
what?
W.
What I loved about the Raiders this game, man, is you've taken the Broncos and now the Seahawks into deep waters where they couldn't swim, and you drowned them. Something that this Raiders team has lacked this season. Yet in adverse times and adverse moments, big time players step up in big time moments, and that's exactly what they did. They drugged this team out into deep waters and drowned these last 2 football teams. What a win by the Raiders, man. Shout out to the chat, man. 22 of you guys in the building. All 22 of you, go smash that like button.
Yes,
Let
sir.
everybody know where you're at. It is going to flood this chat with more Raider fans, and we can all celebrate this big, monumental win together. You
Hey,
know what I
let's get a
mean?
Raiders chant in there, man. We gotta get it. We got it.
Hey,
Come on, man. Raiders.
Raiders.
Hey,
Come on,
man.
chat, man. Oh, you got to love it.
Man, but you know what? You said a lot of good things, man. Defensively, man, like this, they haven't played up like literally. I think I seen a stat where, and I wasn't surprised, but I seen it during the game where we were like probably near the bottom of the league as far as forcing turnovers, which is not surprising. We watched the games all year. And today they got like 2 or 3, and they dropped like 3 or up 3, 4, 3 other possible interceptions from Geno Smith. Geno Smith looked like Geno Smith
Smith today.
of
That's
previous years.
exactly
So
what we needed.
exactly. And our D line was able to get pressure, like you
Mm.
mentioned, Andrew Billings, Perriman. I mean,
Oh
I
my
know
gosh.
the
He is an
dude.
elite run defender, bro. He is a dog.
I just hope, and you got a super chat, D Menace over here, man. He wants a
Hey.
shout out right now.
Where's that? There we go. Raiders. Oh boy, what a
Yeah,
time to
man. Hey,
win.
we feeling the energy, man. We're excited, man. Like I said before, man, we're fans of the team, so we definitely had to come on live and show y'all that we love this team. And I know that, and I left a tweet on social media saying that, hey, the Raiders are 3-7. I'm still watching. You
I'm
know what I
still
mean?
watching.
I'm still watching, and I'm
And now we're
excited, man,
four
after
and
the win.
seven, stacking doves.
Exactly. Now 4-7. I stand corrected. Yeah, 4-7, man. Hey, exactly. And Kevin Lurker says they're finally playing complimentary football. Facts.
Facts.
100%, man. And they're, I guess, McDaniels, I don't want to take no shots, but I remember he was saying that, oh, this team needs to learn how to win. Hey, they're doing it right now. They're doing it in overtime. It's crazy. They were 0-6 2 weeks ago. They were 0-6 in one-score games. Last 2 weeks, 2-0, baby. 2-0, man.
Mhm.
Overtime in dramatic fashion, man. The dramatic. I don't want to call this like the greatest Raider games I've ever seen in my life, because I've seen a lot of Raider games where I was excited and pumped. But man, when's the last time you see a game back-to-back weeks, overtime, game-winning Devontae Adams? And I think this week was even more dramatic with
Oh, for sure.
because there are moments in the game where like, damn it,
I
You know,
know.
Seahawks
I
got the
know.
ball back, like, "Oh, we're gonna get the ball back. Are we really gonna
Especially
lose
when
this
we missed
game?"
the field goal. When we missed the field goal and all they really needed was like 25 yards, bro, to get in
Yeah.
field goal range. And I was like, oh, come on, let's not end it this way. But still a part of me, dude, I had that gut feeling that we talked about yesterday. I just had this gut feeling that they were going to find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
Defense steps up in a big way. Max Crosby stepping up in a huge way, creating pressure on that last third down,
Yep.
making it 3rd and long. Man, what a performance. If the Raiders can continue, what did we say, man? These wins, the vibe in that locker room, it's contagious and it starts to carry itself over to the play on the field. And that's
Facts.
what we're seeing. This last 2 weeks, make no mistake about it. This is the best this Raiders team has looked this entire season. It's not even close. They're playing with juice, they're playing with swagger, they're rallying to the football, they're trying to create turnovers. They don't quit. I love it, bro. I love it. 25 of you in the building. Smash that like button. Spotlight Sports Raiders Talk says, great win, fellas. Shout out to you,
Yes,
Spotlight. It was a
sir.
huge win. Daniel Kim, hey, let's go, Raiders.
Let me put the
Yeah.
hell yeah.
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 Hey,
Yeah.
you know what's funny is Van City was at this game, right? And he was telling us in the chat how he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna see Josh McDaniels. I'm gonna tell him a piece
Oh,
of my mind."
hey, Van City's at the game.
Van City's he got a selfie with Dave Ziegler, bro.
Wow.
I left a
Wow.
comment on his photo. I was like, "You had every opportunity to tell this man exactly how you felt, and you take a selfie with him." It's all good though, man, because we came away with a dub.
Hey, that's crazy because Van City, that's his first. You know, if y'all don't know, Van City is a constant contributor. He always showing up,
Yeah.
showing some love, coming and watching the show, and he let us know that the Seattle game today was his first ever NFL game and Raider game ever.
What a game to go to.
Wow, what a game to go to. Facts, 100%, man. If I went to that game, I'd have been going crazy. I
Oh, I
probably lost
wouldn't
my
go.
voice. Probably wouldn't even go live. Like, man,
Yeah. We
man,
wouldn't
that
want a camera on us.
oh no, not at all, man. I wouldn't even wonder. Like, I'm over here gonna be enjoying the win,
Yeah.
enjoying the whole atmosphere, the environment, man. But look, man, like another thing, let's go back to this. Josh Jacobs, he needs to sign on the dotted line, man. Dave Z needs to hand him up like a blank checkbook and be like,
What do you want?
because he is one of the top 3 players on this team. It's Devontae
Yeah.
Adams, and now I'm not gonna name orders because you can make an argument for all these players, but Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, and Josh Jacobs. These are the 3 hands down best players on the team. Like it's not even close in my opinion. And
Josh Jacobs topped Bo Jackson's 300-yard
woo,
game. He finished with 303. Hey, the
a
NFL is about
300 what?
he finished with 303
I
all-purpose
thought it was
yards.
like 200. Let me look this up. Let
No,
me
no.
confirm this, man. Like this
303,
is
bro.
that's crazy. Hold on one second. And
300
crazy in a good way, y'all. Crazy in a good way.
yeah.
303 yards.
303 all-purpose yards, bro.
Oh, okay, all-purpose yards. Okay, because I see. Okay, he had 33 carries for 229 yards, 6.9 average, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, the 86-yard touchdown. Even his first touchdown was nice. Oh
Bro,
my god!
outside of Derrick Henry, bro, how many backs are touching that 200 mark? I mean, let's be real. Josh Jacobs is eclipsing over 200 yards in
He
a
has
game.
established himself as a top 3, top 5 running back for sure, hands down.
Bro,
Like
hands
you know,
down.
hands down. Like he's one of the best running backs in the league. And man, he has to come back. He has to come back, man. Like,
Hey, I know Derek Carr's that guy. Let's get a deal, Derek Carr, 1 year, $15 million, and let's go throw some money at Josh
hey,
Jacobs.
man, hey, but you know what? Derek Carr is doing his thing too. I know he threw 2 picks today. He threw amazing game. We haven't talked about it yet, but he threw 3 touchdown passes. I know we said that first 3 touchdown game in 2 years. Last time in 2020, I think it was against the Jets, I believe.
Yeah,
And that was the last time. It's been 2 years. He got his three touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but that being said, he made a great throw to tie up the game. Great throw to Moreau.
used his feet, got outside of the pocket, and
Oh my
especially
god.
not stopping throwing at Foster Moreau, even when Foster was having drops and errors in big time moments in a big time game, he still
If
delivers
our
a strike.
mods can block the we got
The flex box came in. That means it's about to get crazy.
let's block them real quick. Block them real quick. But man, Derek Carr, he had a good game. He had his moments. Obviously we talked about the defense. They made plays. But Devontae Adams, did you see that catch? Like, let's go back to that catch. That was a
Yeah, bro.
crazy
He
catch.
straight chicken winged it.
Yeah. And that's greatness. That's just greatness.
That's
Great
so
players
good,
make
bro.
great plays in great moments. You know what I mean? Big moments.
Mm.
And that's what he did in a man, great. So many big plays. There's so many plays that you can pinpoint. There's so many big plays that you could talk about in this game, and that's how you know it was a great game. It was an unbelievable game. That what was huge though, I think, was the fact that it was a huge like moment in the game where it was the Seahawks had the ball and it looked like they got the first down with I forgot the receiver name, DK
DK,
Metcalf.
DK.
And I was thinking that the ball might have hit the ground possibly, but what I didn't think about was the fact that he didn't really control the ball all the way and then went out of bounds.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
what
ended up
got him.
being ended up being third down. And I believe they ended up punting the ball after that, right? Was that a
Yeah,
big moment in the game? I'm
they.
trying to I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
I'm trying
know,
to
I
think,
know.
y'all, man.
It's
I'm
all
over
coming
here.
together.
I'm hyped, man. I'm really hyped about the game, man.
No,
Adam
oh
hit
man,
1,000
Daniel
yards.
Kim, Josh Jacobs is #1 in rushing yards now. #1 in the league.
Number one, and we called it too because the man was top 3, and then he was on a bye week.
Yep.
So that's crazy. And this is weeks ago. He was top 3 in rushing, and he was on a bye week. And they played, and he still was in top 3. So it was only a matter of time. And man, hey, Josh Jacobs, what like I know this is kind of early to talk about, but let's talk about it because we hype right now.
Yeah.
What would you say would be reasonable for Josh Jacobs to get from the Raiders?
Oh,
He
bro,
should get paid. I'm not. He deserves every penny.
I
Every
mean,
penny.
the floor, if I'm being honest with you, the floor is franchise tag number 12 and a half, 13 type of million.
Yeah,
Base salary.
at
That's
least.
that's the
At least.
floor.
Yeah, at least. Van City in the building. Raiders. I was at the game. Yeah, we know, man. We know you was at the game, man. Yeah, man. Congratulations. First ever game.
Van City, I know he's
Hey,
fired
congratulations,
up,
man.
bro. Van City says, I met Dave Ziegler. Van City, I left a comment on your IG and I told you, remember you were on the show and you were like, I'm going to let Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler have a piece of my mind about how I feel about this team. And I left a comment and I was like, you had every opportunity. You actually got Dave Ziegler in front of you and you had every opportunity to let this man know how you felt. And you take a selfie with this man. You took a selfie. Look at him. Look, I got a selfie with Dave Ziegler and he signed my flag. Where
Hey,
did all this
man.
energy go? You are our voice.
Hey, man. You know what though? He was hyped. He was hyped because it was his first ever Raider game. And at the end of the day, like, hey, he was trying to have a good time. And guess what? He did.
I know. I'm giving you a bunch of crap, bro. I'm so glad that you got to do that and get a picture.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Bro,
I've never been to Raider games, but I've never been to like a game like this, overtime game, a great game, and the Raiders went on the road. You know how much like crap you could be talking in that stadium.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh man. Oh my God, man.
Bro,
hey.
People are they're kind of leaving some good chats here. Daniel Kim says this doesn't matter in real life, but Josh Jacobs got me 66.9 points on my fantasy team. Bro, 66 points. I'm going against Josh Jacobs, so I'm not even going to check the score. I'm taking this one as an L, but I'll take that win in real life. Anthony Provencio in the building. Shout out to you, my friend.
Shout out to you, brother.
Florida boy says Adams hit 1,000 today too. I believe he did.
He was 75 yards away. He was 70. I think he got that for sure.
I think it's gonna be.
Let me check. I can look it up real quick.
It's gonna be close. Daniel Kim says, "Yeah, man, that one-handed catch was crazy. It was wild." Richard says
he's close. I think he's 999 yards because he came into the game. He was 925 yards. He had on the season, and he got 74 yards today. 7 catches. Come on, man.
You know what I mean. He'll get that next week.
Yeah. Hey, and I love it too because you know why? Because a lot of the media, the media outlets, the national media, they're expecting a drop off in Devontae Adams because he was coming here to play with Carr. Hasn't been a drop off.
Nah,
hasn't been a drop off. I think he might be. Is he still the league leader in touchdowns and receiving touchdowns? I know coming into the game he was.
Yeah, he should be.
Yeah, coming into the game, I know he was, but that should just tell you he's one of the league leaders in receiving touchdowns. Before the game, he was #1 in the league in receiving touchdowns, and the guy ain't done yet. Hopefully, he stays healthy and he can finish the season strong, man. Hey, man, what a game, y'all!
What a fantastic game. Hey, 30 of you guys in the building. Make sure you smash that like button. If it's your first time here, subscribe to both channels. We go live Tuesdays and Saturdays, and today we had to pop in for a post-game show just because, man, the Raiders needed this so bad, and I'm just so happy for the guys in the locker room. I'm so excited for Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr, the leaders of this team, Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, they all deserved it, man. So smash that like button. Let other Raider fans know where you're at right now. And, man, it's just going to flood with Raider fans that we could talk about this win. Florida Boy says, actually, after that DK Metcalf reception, that's when Max got a sack on the very next play.
Another closer. Max Crosby is making big plays and big moments in clutch moments, and that's another closer. Josh Jacobs is obviously our closer on offense. He's that guy. You know what I mean? And Dodgers, everything says he has 1,160 for the season. Are you talking about?
Yeah, Josh Jacobs.
Oh, okay. Whew. Obviously, man,
he's gonna flirt, bro. He's gonna flirt with that 2,000 mark. He's gonna flirt with it, bro.
He should. The offense should be going through him. It's like it's obvious. And man, and obviously McDaniels has said, like in previous pressers where he said that he had to learn that, like, he's never coached a running back like Josh Jacobs. So he's used to coaching running back by committees with Tom Brady and all the Patriots teams. He's used to having like different running backs for different.
You're lagging out of there. Hey, but to be honest with you, chat, there you go. You're back now. You were lagging out.
Okay. No, but I was just saying that Josh McDaniels is used to like having different types of running backs because all the Tom Brady led teams, Patriots teams, they had different types of running backs for different moments. But with Josh Jacobs, you literally don't have to take him out the game. How many attempts did he have today? I think he had like 30 plus attempts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 33 carries for 229 yards, 6.9 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, man, 40-34. The Raiders win. What a game, man. What a game.
Oh, my gosh, bro. That is so – oh, man, I'm so excited. I got so many chats, man. It's like blowing up. I'm trying to like –
yeah. Hey, man, Raider Nation, man. Hey, let us know how y'all feel, man. This is a show where we're just freestyling. We're literally reacting. We haven't even talked about the game before we went on live, so we want to talk about the game with y'all. So, like, make sure to leave some comments in the chat. Man, we've kind of, we talked about a lot, you know what I mean? But there's been so many big moments in this game, like that we can think of, from the Devontae Adams catch, from Devontae Adams making plays, Max Crosby. Hey, you know what? That D-line showed up today. Andrew Billings, we got to bring him back too.
Andrew Billings has earned a contract.
This defense, going into the offseason, and, obviously we're not there yet. There's still some games left. I'm still hoping for the Raiders to finish strong. But that being said, going into the offseason, I'm just going to, fast forward a little bit. We need to double down and add some talent to this defense. We need
he's earned a spot. If anybody on the interior of this defensive line, at least as a depth piece, I'm talking like $3.5-4 million a season. Bring him back. Pay him what you were paying Jonathan Hankins. This dude is a dog. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Andrew Billings said he's made his mark. Matt says $10 million a year. What's up?
No, I was gonna say $10 million for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen, bro. Because he's gonna he's gonna laugh at the Raiders first,
exactly.
and then he's gonna go into the open market and get like 16 million.
He'll probably become the highest paid.
Yeah, and the dude. Hey, but you know what though? We had a Zamir Weiss. We had a Zamir Weiss sighting.
He looked good,
and he had his 2 best runs in the season in this game too.
On 2 carries.
Exactly. And remember, I told you before like yesterday's show, we had a show, we were talking about keys to the game. And one of the biggest keys was the fact that if the Raiders can convert at least 40% of their third downs, they have a chance of winning this game, because all of the Seahawks losses this year have been their opponents actually converting over 40% of their third downs. Guess what? Let me pull up the stat.
Shout out to the offensive line though, too. The offensive line put in work today. I mean, DC got sacked, maybe twice? One that I'm guaranteed of. Almost twice, because Derek Carr late in the game scrambled out of the pocket.
And the Raiders were 8 for 14 on third down. 8 for 14 on third down. You know what I mean? A big key to this game. Big key to this game. Let's actually look at the stats here. You want me to pull it up real quick?
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay. Let me pull this up.
We can share it onto the screen as well.
All right, 1 second, y'all.
Sean Johnson in the building says, "Let's go Raiders win. Jacobs is a beast." Facts, bro.
Let's see here.
Facts.
Let's see.
Anyways, guys, love you both to pieces. I still got to drive back to Vancouver. Hey, be careful on your ride back, man. Be safe. Make good decisions. Get home safely to that wife and little one. But man, congratulations for you to have an experience like that for your first Raiders game. That'll be memorable. That'll be one to remember, man.
So whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I got it.
Yep. So if you look, let's see, let's look at the stats here. Okay, so look, the Raiders literally they outplayed the Seahawks. 576 yards total yards, 293 passing yards, 283 rushing yards. In comparison, the Seahawks only had 372 total yards, uh 307 pass yards, 65 rushing yards. We average more yards per play, which is a big, a stat. 27 first downs. Like I said, 8 for 14 on third down, 3 for 9 for the Seahawks. That's big. You know what I mean? AKA Max Crosby getting us a few of those sacks allowed. They had 3. We only allowed 1. They had 4 punts. To be honest with you, they shouldn't have been in this game. We should have won this game easily. But guess what? The turnovers. You
Mm.
know, they had a couple of turnovers. I think they had one fumble. Oh, the fumble was huge too, but that we didn't score off that too. We didn't score off that fumble. Let's see what else. And time of possession was huge too. 37 minutes, 30 and 35 seconds to the
Mm.
Seahawks, 28 minutes and 5 seconds. This game, if you look at the stats, we outplayed them, but then we kind of turned the ball. I think the interceptions were big for them.
Look at those total yards, bro. You're
Yeah.
touching 600 total yards.
Boom.
That is
Boom.
crazy. Talk
Boom.
about efficiency. If anybody had questions about how efficient this offense could be when it starts clicking,
Yep.
you're starting to see signs of life here. You're really starting to see what the vision is long term. Really run heavy, extend to get the ball out to your weapons, man. And you can attack everybody in multiple layers. Shout out to the depth pieces. We talked about it on the show yesterday. Who in the depth pieces are going to step up? Sam Webb. You know what I mean? These linebackers, Andrew Billings, another depth
Mhm.
rotational piece that stepped up in a big way.
Yep.
Keelan Cole got a crucial third down conversion late in the game. I mean, Mac Hollins. And that was a beautiful concept, by the way. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah,
In the
go ahead.
first half, the flea flicker,
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Jacobs tosses it back. Mac Hollins sells the fake, gets behind the defense, goes untouched. Oh my gosh, bro!
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
like I said,
what
there's
Josh
so many
McDaniels
big
is learning.
moments, so many great plays, big plays, so many great moments. Yeah, like, it offensively, it looks like the Raiders' offense are hitting their stride. They're figuring out their identity. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is the best I wanna say best player on offense, but, obviously, the offense is going through him, especially with him and Devontae Adams. Those are the 2 biggest players right now on our offense. Now, that being said, we talked about how, like, okay, we need to we all established, Raider Nation, we need Josh Jacob needs to come back.
Mm.
That needs to happen. But how is that gonna happen with the fact that we've kinda invested a lot of money with our offense? Does that mean that we gotta get rid of a couple of players?
Yeah, I mean, you got to talk about it, right? We talk about having hard conversations on this channel all the time, and you got to put them out there. I mean, is Hunter Renfrow somebody? I think if you're going to be honest about it, if Hunter Renfrow or Darren Waller's on the table
Mhm.
about moving on from a contract, I would probably say it's going to be Darren Waller just because the amount of assets you could probably get back for him
Yep.
over a guy like a Hunter Renfrow who's really, let's just be honest, he's a slot weapon. And Darren Waller, when healthy, you can make the argument he's top 5 at his position. So if you're going to keep somebody around, you have to make the argument that it might be Darren Waller. I don't want to see that happen personally, just because I do like his skill sets. I like what this offense, once it starts clicking in the chemistry, what they're going to be able to do with a guy like Darren Waller lined up at tight end.
Mhm.
Because I don't think Foster Moreau is all the way there. He showed up in a big time today, in the end zone, caught a pass, but we've seen him weeks prior drop the ball in the red zone, crucial. That could have been a game winner. There was plays today where he dropped the football. So Foster Moreau is still, he's going to be middle of the road type of tight end. So if you move on from Darren Waller, you're definitely going to take a step back from that position.
I agree 100%. And you heard it here first, man. Like, I know people already talked about it before, but hey, you heard it here from us first. I think that, yeah, it should be Darren Waller. It's
Yeah.
going to be an easy decision because this is a new regime. They did give him a big contract, but if you look at his last 2 years, he's been hurt. And when he's been on the field, he hasn't been as effective. And Josh Jacobs is a better player than Darren Waller at his position. Like, it's not even close. The consistency
Mhm.
that we've seen from Josh Jacobs, it's higher. Obviously, they both kinda you can make an argument that they both are injury prone to a certain extent, but Josh Jacobs is a warrior, bro. Like, he came into the game, we knew that he had a hurt calf, and the guy comes in and has 229 yards and ends the game with an 86-yard touchdown, and
Oh
he
yeah,
and he
you gotta hit that
you know
that
what
audible. It's
I'm
like what? A
saying?
hurt calf?
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That's
Hurt?
crazy. You know what I mean? And that's just shows how tough Josh Jacob is as that player. And man, he represents what the Raiders are, man. It's that toughness. He has that greatness. He wants to be a Raider. I think he has a Raider tattoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to bring him back. I think that's probably John Gruden's best pick as a John Gruden. You can argue, well, no, Max Crosby, and Josh Jacobs. You got to put him up there. And I know he plays a position where you don't want to pay a lot of money to running backs because you can easily replace them. But man,
But
you can't replace
you can't easily replace like those top 3 to 5 backs.
great players. Great players
Yeah,
are hard to replace.
yeah. I mean, Zamir White looked good today. That was the best he's looked all year as well.
Yep.
It's not a big enough sample size for me to feel comfortable saying, "Well, hey, we've got a Zamir White on the roster. We can just go ahead and move on from Josh." Nah, that ain't that. Zamir White, I'm sorry, he's not going to get you 303 all-purpose yards, put the game on his back, and seal it. That's just not the case. Not only that, but the leadership that Josh Jacobs brings to the locker room, the accountability he brings.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, even from his draft story, you know what I mean? Being homeless, living in cars, to where he's at today, bro, putting an organization on his back, he is earning every single penny that he's going to make this offseason.
Yeah, no, facts 100%. And I'm at first I was kind of hesitant. If you asked me this question before the season started, I'd be like, nah, I would probably
100%. I agree.
Darren Waller. I mean, you can't pay running backs that type of money. Patriots, Josh McDaniels, they've always had like a whole stable of running backs that's not even their forte. That's not their style. But no, without a doubt, Josh Jacobs has to come back. There's no question. He is a Raider.
And let me explain the Darren Waller situation too, why I would say it's going to be Darren Waller over Hunter Renfrow. It's because I believe that Derek Carr signs a contract that he signs to keep his friends around. He keeps a Devontae, he keeps a Hunter Renfrow. Him and Hunter Renfrow are extremely close. That's a reason why Derek Carr took less money, so the people that he enjoys to play with is going to be around him. With that being said, if Derek Carr is the quarterback, which I think he's proven that he's going to be,
yeah,
Hunter Renfrow is going to be locked in with him. I think there's no mistake in that, and that is why. And now, who do I honestly believe brings more value to the team at their position? I would honestly say Darren Waller. Like if I had the choice to get rid of somebody, it would be Renfrow. You know what I mean? Just because I don't think he is top 3 at his position inside the slot. I mean, maybe last year he was, but we can't just dwell on one season. You know what I mean? That season was a complete anomaly. There's no reason why a player like Hunter Renfrow should have 115 receptions for over 1,000 yards. You know what I mean? That was just the circumstances. He was the number 1 option. Darren Waller was out. You had a Deshaun Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of is what it is. Darren Waller, though, is a top player at his position when he's healthy. So he just brings a different dynamic and you're able to play defenses a bit better. So, chat, let me know down in the comment section below if you had a choice. Now, we all know it's going to be Darren Waller, but if the fans had a choice to move on from either Renfrow or Darren Waller, which player would you release to save that cap money? Let me know down in the comment section below.
You could also, I'm not trying to put you in a spot, but I think there's an ability where you can actually make a poll. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But let us know in the chat, man. Let us know who would you if it came down to the Raiders keeping Josh Jacobs and we had to get rid of Darren Waller or Renfrow, what player would that be? Would it be Renfrow, a guy that third in Renfrow who's been productive, who has great chemistry with Derek Carr, but has been hurt? He's not a big guy, and it doesn't look like the transition to Josh McDaniels' offense has been smooth. Obviously, he hasn't played a lot of games, so we have to give an opportunity. Same thing with Darren Waller. But if you had to choose, who would it be, Darren Waller or Renfrow? Who would you get rid of? They're both getting paid, a high cap number. And if we had to keep Josh, I'm leaning towards keeping Josh Jacobs. We have to keep Josh Jacobs. There's no, you can't get rid of him, man. There's no way, not get rid of him, but you can't let him walk.
And he's not old. This guy's 24. So he's still young. He's got a lot of tread on tires. The way to 303 yards, Josh Jacobs set an NFL record. And this is coming from none other than Sean Scheffner Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from 303 yards, Jacobs sets an NFL record. According to the research team, he is the first player in NFL history since the merger to run over 225 and record 70 yards in a single game.
Man. And it's crazy. I think McDaniels wants him back too, and Dave Z wants him back. We've seen him after the game, and he's giving Josh Jacobs a huge hug and talking to him and walking him into the locker room. And you see Josh McDaniels after the game, like he says stuff like, "I've never played with a running back like Josh Jacobs."
Dave Ziegler's
He
got a
never
little
gets tired.
forehead sweat going on. He's like, yeah, he's doing really good. Knowing he's gonna have to sign a big fat check for that man.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna be interesting when Darren Waller and Renfro come back to the team and seeing how they fit in with the team. Because right now, the bread and butter is run the ball. And where's Devontae Adams? Where is he
Exactly.
at? Give him the ball and then try to sprinkle the other targets to, the specialty players like a Moreau or, Hollins here and there. And
And we made a case, dude. Derek Carr almost plays a little bit better when less is more. You know what I mean? He's got his number one go-to in Devontae.
yeah.
He's got his number one running back, and then he spreads the ball out and he gets the ball out to people. So
But it's kind of hard to say that because, they were the offense in general was kind of like off.
yeah, no,
So
you're right.
they're still trying to get because look, you even pointed this out. I didn't even see this. I don't know if anybody's seen this in the chat, but there was a moment in the game where I think Derek Carr audibled out of a play and Josh McDaniels, you could
Ripped
talk about it.
into him, bro. So I caught it. They were in the red zone. Derek Carr gets up to the line of scrimmage. I believe personally it was called a pass play. I think Josh McDaniels wanted to take a shot to the end zone.
Yeah.
Derek Carr gets up to the line of scrimmage, audibles out of a play, checks in, and it was a toss crack. It ended up getting a tackle for a loss. I think it was like a gain of 2 or something like that with Amir Abdullah on the outside. And Josh McDaniels was absolutely fired up on the sideline. And Pharaoh, you want to drop the information that you actually gave?
Yeah, I got, like I was telling Ray, I need to go back and I need to watch all the pressers and, hear all the, comments that the coaches and players made. But what I did catch at the end of Derek Carr's presser was that one of the beat writers asked him a question about, how the players weren't behind Josh McDaniels and reports of that and how you guys are playing hard and winning, yada, yada, yada. And Derek Carr actually goes out his way to point out a play where he thought that play was the right play. He actually thought that was the right play, but then realized like, oh, that was the right play for who? Obviously Gruden, offense that he played previously. And, he kind of made a point to say, we're all kind of getting better every week and we're working on doing it, the Josh McDaniel way. You know how Derek Carr is going to give you that talk. But, he did admit that was his fault. And he thought it was that audible would have been right in, Gruden's offense, but it wasn't the right call in McDaniel's offense. And, things like that are going to get better. They're going to get better over time. And that's what I wanted. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been preaching. I want to see a progression. There's going back to a couple weeks ago. I was like, hey, there's 8 games left. I want to see an improvement. All people have been talking about tanking and Raider Nation's about talking about tank. I don't want to see no tank season. Tank season means that this is going to be a complete rebuild. We have all these contracts on the books. How are you going to get rid of a Chandler Jones contract? How are you're basically the next 3, 4, 5 years are going to be just terrible teams. And I don't think Mark Davis has signed up for that. I think he did have a plan. They definitely have a plan for sure. My thing is that, hey, can they progress? And you could tell by last week was probably the first time all season. When I say last week, the game winner against Denver Broncos, where you look at the locker room, you look at how the players played, and they finished that game, was like, oh, okay, they actually like they like each other. They like playing. They're playing hard. They got a monkey off their back. They was able to win a 1-score game, and guess what? They did it again this week. And it was, man, it's great to see right now. You see the Raiders
starting to figure out how to win.
Exactly. That's crazy for a veteran team. Yeah, that's crazy to say for a veteran team. But they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're doing it on Sundays. They're doing it in dramatic fashion. And Daniel Kim, man, shout out to him. He had a super chat.
Daniel Kim, hey, gotta grab dinner with the family. What a W! We'll see y'all Tuesday. Raiders. Hey, Daniel Kim, get the Raiders chant. Oh, that's music to my ears, boy. Everybody that's in the chat, man, go smash that like button. Let everybody know where you're at tonight. It makes your experience and our experience that much better. Allows more Raider fans to find the channel, and it's free. You just go. Daniel Kim, D Menace, they've already paid everybody's tab tonight. You guys just go over there and smash that like button. Show some gratitude. Can we get out of the Chandler Jones contract? No.
Not for the foreseeable future, unless like you're okay with a guy sitting at home making $25 million. next year, or I think there's gonna be a 25 mil dead cap hit. So
Yeah, and that's
mm,
why we've talked about it. The Raiders are actually starting to stack up some wins here. So look, Jalen Carter might be out of the conversation, but you're going to have to find a guy, whether free agency, a trade, or maybe move up in the draft to go and get you a predominant interior defensive lineman. And with the Chandler Jones situation, I think we've seen flashes of it today, though, if I'm being honest, with the emergence of Andrew Billings. Just a small emergence from a push on the inside. You
mhm.
were able to see Chandler Jones get more active. He had a fumble recovery. He was generating pressure. Geno Smith is sneaky athletic. You know what I mean? So he was able to make Chandler Jones miss. Chandler Jones had an opportunity at a sack, kind of got away from Chandler Jones a little bit. But even with the little emergence of an Andrew Billings on the interior, you were able to see those bookends come to life a little bit. So
And
that's
that
going to be
goes back
crucial.
fast forward to the offseason, the Raiders, they look, this new regime now knows what, and it's crazy to say, but now they know what this roster needs. They know what the weaknesses are. They know what they need to do. And we'll see. I mean, right now, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this team get better, and hopefully they can finish the season strong, and keep some of the players too. The players that play well this season, that you need to bring them back, because you need a foundation for next year to build off this year. You know what I mean? You can't just get rid of all the players this year. That just doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
it's interesting though that a guy like Perriman is on his last year of his deal. Do you
Here's the
think
problem, man. Here's the problem. You've got a lot of players on these 1-year deals, and we don't have the cap space to retain them all,
Mhm,
because a lot of them are going to look to get paid. Denzel Perryman, obviously, I'd imagine the floor with him is
mhm,
going to be close to that $5 million mark, given his age, his versatility when it comes to run defense. He's not known for pass coverage, so that's going to hinder him when it comes to contract numbers. That's why he's not going to get paid like the upper tier type of linebackers. He's pretty one dimensional, but in the scheme and system, he fits perfectly. He's exactly what we need. Um, but him, I mean, Rock Yassin let up his first touchdown of the year, but dude, he's been playing lights out. There's a lot of players, man. Andrew Billings, Matt Collins, all
mhm.
these players. You start going down the line, man. Especially at our depth positions, there's a lot of 1-year guys. Now, there are guys that are clearly you're going to move on from. Do you move on from a Deron Harmon, somebody who's been a really good depth piece at the safety position? You know what I mean? And if you bring it back a Deron Harmon, does it allow you to address the interior of the defense and those linebackers and kind of keep a veteran back there on the back end and let those guys develop?
Mhm.
There's a lot to be seen, man, because Rock Yassin, if they bring him back, he's going to be at about $10 million. You go out and re-sign Josh Jacobs, you got $25 million in average base salary wrapped up in 2 players. And that's 2 players, you guys, on a roster that is riddled with 1-year contracts. So it's going to be tough. They got a lot of tough decisions to make.
So look. All right. So we talked about a lot of the good things from this game. There's probably more good things that we can talk about, and we'll probably get into that, on the next show as well. But today, we're focusing on just it's a real reaction after the game. The Raiders won an overtime game, 40-34, a classic. You know what I mean? This is going to be a classic. It's going to be a classic in Seattle. The massacre that happened in Seattle, the domination that happened from Josh Jacobs. Running 229 yards, 6.9 average, 2 touchdowns, 86-yard game-winning touchdown. You don't see that every day. So of course, we had to go live. Of course, we had to react. Man, it was a great win. But were there anything that you seen? Let's look at the other side now.
Yeah.
Um, what were things that kind of concerned you about the team? What are like? I'll start with one guy,
Okay.
Alex Bars.
Okay.
He needs to go to the bench.
Okay.
He's the weakest O lineman on the field to me, in my opinion. I think other O linemen had their moments. I think Parham had that moment where, but
He
when he
got
got
bullied a little
pushed
bit on one
by
play. Yeah.
Shelby Harris.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to stick with Parham. Obviously, he has more good moments than bad moments, and he's a rookie. He's growing. You definitely want
Okay.
to keep
Well,
him in there.
if you're gonna make that take, then who's going to be your replacement if you want him benched? Who are you comfortable with swinging into there?
Oh man, you need
That's
it.
the problem.
Yeah, Simpson is not going to be
Yeah.
somebody else. Somebody else, maybe somebody else. Maybe move a Luminor inside. You know what I mean? And have their Munford on.
Dude, I don't think Illuminor's that terrible.
I don't think he is, but I think that we need to put the best O lineman on the field, and I don't think
I
Alex Bars is the
I
best
think
one to
Illuminor is the best right tackle we have on the roster. He's better than Thayer Mumford. Thayer Mumford played guard in college. Give him a shot. He's your swing tackle at this point. You know what I mean? If you want to give somebody, you want to play that big bully style of football, that's what he was known for.
I think it's probably gonna be easier transition for Illuminor than it is Thayer Munford
It
just
is.
because
It
he's
is.
a rookie, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a
It is.
and, Illuminor is a veteran, he's been around, so he knows how to he can move around and get it going real quick and know what he needs to do, and
That's the
I mean
reason why he would be the guy,
exactly. So
because
that's
he has the capability.
I'm kinda like, put the best O-lineman on the field, and I don't think is Alex Bars the one that 5? Is he that 5? Is
Here's
he
the thing, bro. When it comes to, I've seen him play decent. I mean, but when it's bad, it's really bad. So I don't know. We can say all this, but they really let up 1 sack.
Yeah, but not even that. There was a come on, man, like, he we almost lost Derek Carr, God forbid that didn't we almost lost him because for
My
some reason
screen froze, and I seen Derek Carr laying on his back with teammates
oh
surrounding
my
him. I said, "Oh no, oh
because
no."
because of Alex Bars, that was a play where he probably missed the
I
block
didn't
or,
get to see
there
it.
was
I
just
didn't get to see it.
and we'll probably look at it more after the game or whatever, but, you know, that's one guy that comes to mind, the Raiders definitely gotta they have to
Okay.
make cornerback one of
Um,
the I'll say another one too, corner.
cool. Okay, yeah, corner, but I was also gonna go linebacker. And I say linebacker because the middle of the field has been atrocious. You know what
Right.
I mean? Outside of Denzel Perryman, and you know what? Shout out to Denzel Perryman. When we go back and rewatch the film, I'm sure people are going to see this. But Denzel Perryman actually made an adjustment on that interception.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, he got beat. He hesitated, right? They kind of played a game with their eyes a little bit, and they stretched that seam. And Denzel Perryman played it way too short. He stopped running, and the offensive player got behind him and got a big play. And that was actually an adjustment on behalf of Denzel Perryman on the interception. He actually committed to the seam and met those 2 wide receivers in the middle of the field and got that interception. So that was a big heads up IQ play on him. I know he's not known for pass defense, but that was a big time good adjustment. But
Mhm.
man, the middle of the field has been an Achilles heel for the Raiders for
Oh, yeah,
years now.
all year long. I mean, for a while, man. I
For
think the Raiders
years.
for years, like, we haven't had, like, a good, just linebacking core for a while, and hopefully that's something that they kinda, like, look into and look
Hey
to
man, if we
upgrade.
land in the middle of that first round, go get you a real sideline to sideline linebacker. Like if you miss out on the premier pass rushers on the interior of this defensive line,
Mhm.
go get you a playmaker. Go get you the Micah Parsons type of player. You know what I mean? That you can line up in this 3-4 outside, inside. Let him be a do it all type of guy. That'll be exciting.
Was that the Alex Leatherwood, draft?
Yep.
Because we were, like, 2 picks away, 2,
Yeah.
3 picks away from
Oh, dude, I wanted him to. The whole time I was screaming,
man, I
please
was like, "Man, if
trade.
they can trade up and get Micah Parsons,
I
oh
know,
my god."
and they could have. They really could have.
But,
It is hindsight. It is what it is.
yeah.
Man, I got a comment for you. So as soon as you read it, I want you to have your finger ready. Let me find it again. Oh, okay. I got it. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
In there, we
Hold up, hold up, hold up. What? What? Hold up. Salvatore, let's trade Josh Jacobs while his draft capital is high. Nah, man.
No,
Nah,
bro.
Salvatore. That's not how you get better, man. You
No.
don't trade away great players.
And you don't do that to the locker room.
Josh Jacobs has elevated his game to not a very to from good to very good. Now he is in that great he's an elite player. He's elite. You can now like we've seen it. We've seen it. He's been consistent since he's been drafted 1,000 yards almost every season. I think one season he didn't get 1,000 because he was hurt. You can argue, his injuries can be a concern with him, but man, this year he
Some
took a
of
big
those
step
players,
up.
man, they're making an argument for a really good draft as well. Like
Yeah.
Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs. These
Mhm.
are 2 players who have now emerged themselves up into that elite category. And their progression has just constantly been on the rise. Like I know the first round picks. I know those first picks. What was it? Cleve Farrell and who was after that? Damon Arnett. Was that the pick? No, Jonathan Abram. Jonathan Abram was. Obviously, you can make the argument for those 2 being bad picks and selections, but man, when you look at the depth of the Hunter Renfro, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's
So I
got to
see a
prove it.
couple of people saying that, hey, Alex Bars was in on that play where he was blocking well, I think for Zeus. People are talking about Zeus. Hey, yeah, I like what I seen from Zamir White too as well. Like he was able to come in and finally get some creases, and you can see the explosion. Like, you could see this guy can take it to the house. Like, you could see how quick and fast he can be if he gets into the open field. But that being said, don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you, man. Josh Jacobs, he's that dude, man, and we have to bring him back, man. He is, if the Raiders are serious about winning and they wanna win and they got this window to win, and Josh Jacobs needs to come back. There's no doubt about it, and if he doesn't, then it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough for the Raiders, but I don't wanna think about that right now. I'm thinking about the Raiders winning today, and Debo, this is the comment. He said they did have those 2 Zeus runs behind bars and Illuminor.
Yeah,
The thing
Aluminum had
about
a really
bars,
good run
I think
block
his strength as an O lineman is run blocking.
for sure.
It's just pass blocking, you
It
kinda,
is.
like, hold your breath.
It's bad.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's
It's
that's
bad.
the only thing. That's the only thing, and if you're okay
But
with
hey,
their
given the circumstances and the fact that you elevate him, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, in a situation where you were losing a bunch of guys at the guard position, John Simpson loses his job, and
Yep.
let's be honest, hasn't even competed to get it back. For him to get promoted and thrown into a lineup like that in an offense like this, he's done serviceable. He's a 1-year stopgap guard. That's what he is. You know what I mean? So make no mistake about it. This offensive line is putting hats on people when it comes to run blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, is pass protection leave a little bit something to be desired? Of course it does, but you're not going to have a perfect solution this season. You know what I mean? So if our identity is running the football, man, get those guys that can move bodies, and Alex Bars can move bodies when it comes to the run game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. And that's probably why he's in there, and I think that their whole when they probably kinda reevaluated what the strengths on this team was, and obviously Josh Jacobs being that guy and playing well so to begin with this season, they probably was like, "You know what? We gotta get someone in there that could actually run block, and at least he can get in there and do that," but,
Everybody
I
in the building, man, smash those like buttons.
Yep.
We got almost 40 people here. Let's everybody know where you're at tonight. Shoots this video up the algorithm. Let's Raider fans find the show. Subscribe to Pharaoh
Mhm.
NFL Raider Ray. We go live every Tuesday and Saturday, and tonight we had to do a post-game reaction. So on Tuesday's live show, we are going to have press conference clips. Hopefully, if we can get around to it, we're going to
Mhm.
have press conference clips to go over and really get a feel for where this team is at, man. I know it's been a little bit too late for the Raiders to make a rally, but with all these games left and the Colts are actually still in the hunt with 4 wins, hey, anything's possible at this point if the Raiders can string together some wins.
Robert Penny has a great question here. He says, "So question, with Waller and Renfrow coming back, does that change our chemistry once again? Your thoughts?" So, in my opinion, no, they're still part of the team. You know what I mean? They're still in that locker room. They're celebrating with this team right now. It's not like they're cancers in the locker room. I think right now I'm not sure if I don't know if they were on the sidelines. I know they're on IR. They're recovering from their injuries. They want to be out there. It's just the facts is that they haven't been out there, and when they've been out on the field, they just haven't been productive. And you can make you can say that, you know what, so has a lot of the players on offense. Everybody kind of had their moments where they were struggling on offense this season, and now the Raiders are kind of like finding their groove a little bit. Hey, they were able to put 40 points on the board today. You know what I
Facts,
mean?
man.
Behind Josh Jacobs, behind Derek Carr's 3 touchdowns, Devontae Adams making plays, Morrow making plays. He did have a bad drop today. I did not like that, Morrow, but he's been solid so far this season as a number 2 tight end. You know, he's been put into action, obviously, with Darren Waller going out. But I think that it's that's a very good question to ask, because when they do come back, they're going to have to fit in. They're going to have to find a role. It's not the Raiders are not going to adjust to them. They're going to have to adjust to the Raiders. Because if the Raiders are winning, put it this way, if the Raiders are winning and they're on a, because right now they're on a 2-game win streak. They've literally, improved when it comes to finishing games. Then you have to, like, as players, you have to recognize, like, hey, how can I contribute to helping this team? I don't think Josh McDaniels can be like, oh, I need to find plays for no, like, find ways to get open, like, get open when I don't
And
know.
in a
That's the way I look at
season
it.
and in a season where you don't have a ton of wins,
Mhm.
but the wins that you're starting to stack up, you put one of your 2 best offensive weapons on the IR, and now you're picking up wins, which tells the front office
They can win without
we
him.
can win without these contracts.
Mhm.
It's something to think about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, and
So
I don't think they're gonna get rid of both of them. If they
no,
do,
no, no.
that would be
I
crazy, but
I have this feeling though, dude. I really think that one of them could be gone,
yeah,
and I'm leaning towards Waller.
yeah.
We'll see though. Trucker Mark says Josh Jacobs just set the single game team rushing record. Facts, man. He put on a show today.
Yep. Facts, 100%.
Richard Lyon, shout out to you, Richard. He says Jacobs is the GOAT, honestly.
Man, there's no way he doesn't come back. Like, he has to come back.
Dominique says I wouldn't commit long term to JJ, but I would franchise him.
And franchise him and give a contract. That's it's gonna end with the contract. I mean,
it's gonna end with paying him a lot of money.
Yeah, facts, 100%. And I see someone talking about Hobbs. Hobbs didn't play today. You know, he was on top of him coming back from his previous injury where he broke a bone in his body. He's also recovering from a bug that he got from the team. So he was, you know, it was his first time activated from IR. So he needs probably a week. I think he'll probably be back next week. There's a good chance he probably can be back next week. And that'll be a huge boost to that defense. I just want to say that. Huge boost. Because if you think about it now, it puts players in better positions to succeed, because now some of the players that you see on the field that are struggling are going to move a little bit down that depth chart. Because you could make an argument Nate Hobbs is probably our best corner. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's you know what I mean? Just
the best guy in the secondary.
He just got that playmaking.
Oh, yeah.
You know, ability, like just that playmaking aspect about him.
And coming into a situation where this defense is starting to play with some fire, some juice, some swagger, this fits the mold of Nate Hobbs. Like Nate Hobbs and Max Crosby in the beginning of the year were really the only two defensive players to really bring that type of energy. You know what I mean? Now the whole defense is playing collectively as one unit.
Yep.
Hey, man, I mean, I like what I see. Don Riss says, Josh is the oil that makes the car go.
Mm-hmm.
He is the engine to this offense without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Trucker Mark says 4 year to 5 year contract, $100+ million.
To Josh Jacobs.
I think that's a little steep.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
That's a little steep.
Too much. That's like is that quarterback money? That's like defensive end money right there.
That's too steep. Yeah. Richard Lyon says I would bring them in slowly, guys. And look, man, like incorporate them slowly. Continue to do what you're doing. Don't feel like what I don't want to see is when Waller and Hunter Renfrow get back into the lineup that Derek feels like he has to go to those guys just because they're available. That shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? Keep this identity moving, bro. Feed Josh Jacobs. Feed Devontae Adams. Those two guys deserve the primary of the bulk of the entire offense. I hate to say it, but Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, if you guys are getting the scraps and the leftovers, go ahead and eat. You know what I mean? Take what's left from the reps of Devontae and Josh Jacobs. But outside of that, don't feel like you're going to get 10 to 15 targets. Like Darren Waller's not going to get 10 to 15 targets anymore.
Yeah.
It's just other guys that stepped up.
Right. And on top of that too, is like, I like how you said, like they're not going to have a lot of pressure on them to actually make a play, because now the team's already established. Like there's already Josh Jacobs is going to get his carries, and Devontae Adams is going to get his looks, and then it's going to be everybody else. Whoever has a hot hand in that game, maybe might be D Waller that game, might Renfrow, but without a doubt, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs are guys that got to get their touches. There's no way around it.
When Hobbs and Diablo are back, the defense will look better. I would definitely say Nate Hobbs. Divine Diablo, he would help also with the run defense, a little bit of an identity that we've shown. He's pretty aggressive, comes downhill, plays aggressive, especially for the frame that he plays with. That's what's probably why he ends up getting battered around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a lot of work to do when it comes to pass coverage. I mean, it's really, really bad. So
yeah, it's bad.
So we don't have any linebackers that are coverage linebackers by
Jayon Brown was supposed to be that guy, but he was just as bad as Divine Diablo.
And to be honest with you, man, I was looking at this defense in big time moments of this game, right? And they did it was almost like the coach's cam review, and I was just seeing this defense lined up, and I'm seeing, Roderick Teamer come down in the box. I'm seeing a Luke Masterson not contain an edge and allow a big time run, and I'm thinking, man, Patrick Graham is out here giving the offense, outside of the Saints game, giving the offense every opportunity to compete in games with such a deficit of talent.
Yeah.
Like
and not to cut you off, but like I remember I talked about, this I guess is a perfect opportunity to Raider Nation. Hey, I hope, and it's looking like it's trending in the right direction, y'all. I hope that I am wrong about Josh McDaniels, because I did say that Josh McDaniels needed to go if he lost the locker room, but it doesn't look like he has. And if that's not the case, and you see how this team is progressing, He's definitely coming back. Obviously, Mark Davis came out with his statement saying that he's gonna come back for another year.
Mm.
I am so glad that I'm wrong because if I was right, it would have been so bad for the Raiders. It would have been so bad, so I'm glad. Another thing too is I mentioned that there was probably gonna be some scapegoats, whether Derek Carr or Patrick Graham. But guess what? I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's fair to Patrick Graham because he does not have that much talent on
Mhm.
defense. You gotta give him and I think you made a good point right now. You're making a good point. Go ahead, about how Patrick Graham needs talent on this,
He
defense.
does. I mean, you've got Roderick Teamer trying to set an edge, playing down in the box, kind of taking over that Jonathan Abram role. You've got Luke Masterson lined up. Opposite of Rock Ya-Sin, you've got Sam Webb. Sam Webb
Yeah,
starting on the opposite side. Like, bro, what he's able to do. Andrew Billings, a guy that nobody's really ever heard about. Kyle Pecco playing interior of the defensive line. Jerry Tillery, who was just released with the Chargers.
yeah,
This dude is, I mean, granted, they're nowhere near where they need to be. All
yeah,
right. So let's not act like we got this top defense. But with what we're able to put out on the field, shout out to Patrick Graham. Because what happens when this dude gets some talent?
yeah. Like,
Like,
look, Morik hasn't played well. He had, like, a couple of dropped interceptions this game. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Obviously, it's been a transition for him, going from Gus Bradley's defense to Patrick Graham's defense, and he's still kinda getting used to it. Hopefully, he can get his game on track. There's still get 6 games left. But Deron Harmon, that dude has been
do you pay him?
a great pickup, for this defense. Great pickup. He's been a playmaker in the secondary,
Do you?
and
Yeah, if I bring him back, it's going to be a pretty similar contract to what he's got. It's probably going to be another
yeah,
one
yeah,
year type of deal.
yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know how many teams are going to go out there knocking on the door asking for an aging veteran safety.
Because he's a system fit. He just
Exactly.
fits the system. He knows the defense. He's playing fast, and
You're
he's
going
one
to
of the
get
only
a good, valuable piece to your defense on a very, very team friendly type of deal.
he's
Those
one
are
of
the moves you go make.
he's one of the only players on defense that's playing fast.
Mm.
You know what I mean? There you can make an argument, maybe is Morik playing fast? Is he still kinda is he a step there? You know what I mean? He's not playing his game because technically speaking, Morik is way more athletic than Deron Harmon. Like, he should be able to
I think with Merrick though, bro, I think when the lights turn on, it's going to be big. Like he's close, man. Like he
Yeah,
gets his hands on the ball. He's a really good, efficient tackler.
yeah,
Like if he can clean up little details about his game and the
yeah.
lights come on for him and things start to slow down and he's less processing up in his head, I
Mhm.
think he's going to be a really good player. I really
Yo, for
do.
sure. Facts, 100%. Man, there's so many players that we could talk about.
Richard Lyon says Carr broke his ribs in this game, from what I heard.
He broke his ribs?
I'm hoping not. I hope that's not the case.
Hey, man, put some respect on Carr's name, man. If that's the truth,
Everybody who wants to question his toughness.
yeah, hey, if anybody wants to question his toughness, put some respect on Carr's name. And that right there, when you see something like this, obviously as fans, we love to see this because we see the toughness. They're out there like literally risking their life. I don't know if take it to that extent, but you know, they're risking their bodies and their health, and the guys they're fighting it out, and he played it to the end of the game. Man, if this is true, that's crazy. And another thing too, you want to think about is that the locker room respects this a lot. The locker room, they're definitely going to give him a
Bro,
whole
this
lot.
this is only gonna create momentum.
It's just gonna go
It's
to a
gonna
whole
build.
different level. It's
It
gonna go.
is, and they haven't tasted this, right, this year. They haven't tasted wins like this. They didn't face adversity and come through that tunnel together. And now they're
Yeah,
starting to do that. They came through
yeah,
that tunnel of adversity, and now they're starting to win some football games.
yeah.
It's big. Dominique
Uh,
says we can't
mhm,
continue to pay all these guys on offense. Look what happens when we commit to Waller and Renfro.
yeah,
Injuries and play fell off.
yeah, yeah.
To the
Look,
point.
so and then going back to I got to look into that. I'm not sure if that's 100% true. If he broke his ribs, I hope not.
I hope
Please,
not.
I don't want the car to. But it was a tough hit, like you know. And sometimes you know, when you're watching the game, sometimes you see some of these hits. It doesn't, you know, like football. They're such pros at what they do. They kind of walk it off, man. But those hits hurt, man. When players get tackled, when they get hit, especially quarterbacks, when you got like 300-pound players going like full speed at
Oh, you can't let them know that you're a wounded animal in a
exactly.
war. You can't let them know that.
Well, he kind of did when he was on the ground for like
Crying. I'm just
4
kidding.
or 5 minutes, but he came back in the game. That's what matters. He came back in the game, and he was able to finish the game strong, and, obviously, he threw his first 3 touchdowns since 2020, so that was a great sight to see today.
And hey, man, there was over 50 of us in the building, man. Make sure that you hit those like buttons. Subscribe to Pharaoh NFL. Subscribe to Raider Bray. We go live Tuesday, Saturday. We're doing a post-game live show tonight just because the big win that the Raiders were able to pick up today. Oh, let's see here, man. You guys are just blowing up the comment section, man. Okay, how about everybody readdress their comments and drop them down? I'm gonna catch up to the ones at the bottom, and if you want to resubmit your questions or a statement that you had, I'll be able to see them now. I have to catch up with the chat. Averett, dude, Florida boy. I've been saying this on the show. Averett looks and plays like Arnett.
It's the locks.
Facts,
It's
bro.
the hair. It's the hair. And then but yeah, man, he's giving up plays too. He's gonna play. But to be honest, to be fair to him, man, DK Metcalf
He's
is
a
just
dog.
he's a monster. He
And he moved around. He went against Sam Webb and
yeah.
Anthony Averett. So
Yeah.
okay. Dominique says McDaniel still needs to go. He's an idiot. Who called the toss on the 4th and inches? Also, why kick a 56-yard field goal where 3 and 7 go for the touchdown and win? These are all
Well,
things that we kind of talked about.
well, look. Let me explain it a little bit. Like, I agree with you. Like, I thought McDaniels, and this is something that we've kind of seen a pattern with McDaniels. He likes to get cute. Instead of just going for like the most, like, come on, sometimes you don't have to. He sometimes overthinks it. He's a great. Hey, we've seen him call some great play calls. The players have kind of failed to execute. You know, obviously now they're executing. They're making plays. The Raiders scored like 40 points today, but there are certain moments in the game where sometimes he gets a little bit too. He overthinks it. Like, he could have easily just quarterback sneaked that play. So I'm with you, Dominique, on that. But as far as the 56-yard, hey man, we got a guy in the name of Carlson, a kicker. He's arguably the best kicker in the league. He's hit 16 straight 50-yard field goals. It was 4th and 2. He went for it on another, obviously he remembered last time he went for it on 4th down. He didn't get it. Why not give your kicker a chance? You know what I mean? And a guy like Carlson, who's proven time and time again, this dude is money. So I'm not, I don't want to be overly critical on McDaniels on that, because I would have done it too. Like, hey man, I got an automatic machine over here that can literally kick 50-yard field goals and hasn't missed the last.
And your defense was playing good enough that you trusted them. Like, if you take the points in this game where you can get them, you know what I mean? Like, don't end drives with 0 points. If you can take 3, take 3, especially when your defense is playing the way that they were and giving your offense opportunities to get the ball back. There are a lot of criticisms, man. I don't know that he necessarily has to go. I mean, especially if he wins over the locker room. If the guys rally and buy into him,
I would give it time. I would give it time. We have no choice. I mean, Mark Davis,
it's gonna
came out and
happen.
said, yeah, it's gonna happen. Like, but the fact that it's gonna happen, but we're seeing, okay, he hasn't lost the locker room. We're seeing the team get better. They're finishing better at the end of games. That's a good sign, y'all. That's an improvement.
Okay, Richard says no signs of broken ribs. They're
Thank
talking
God.
about maybe bruised ribs.
And we're gonna look into this. Like we said, we're literally instantly reacting after the game. We haven't really had too much time to actually look at like every little thing, but hopefully, yeah, Carr is not hurt seriously with his ribs.
But they did let go of some talent as well. Maybe they didn't fit the scheme or just did not buy in. Okay, Hankins, let me just go through these names right quick. Hankins, aging veteran, doesn't move the needle in anything. I mean, even the one game that he was really good at, it was the ability to stop the run. Those skill sets started to regress a little bit. In preseason, he flashed, but when it came to regular season games, that skill set started to regress a little bit. So I understood the releasing of Hankins earlier in the offseason. I was talking about, hey, let these young guys compete. Let the Andrew Billings of the world. In preseason, actually, when I was watching Andrew Billings tape, I was dropping review films of that. And I was saying that, hey, look, Andrew Billings is the guy to replace Jonathan Hankins. I mean, he's younger, bigger, stronger. He's able to play Jonathan Hankins' game just better than what he does. Jonathan Abram, very, very limited schemes that he's going to be able to play for and thrive. You know what I mean? Like a very limited role. Box safety, come down hills, be aggressive in the run, and cover running backs out of the backfield. He's essentially a glorified linebacker. So I kind of understood that. Trayvon Mullen, he's a shadow of his former self. He's not playing good football. And Yannick Ngakoue, he can't stop the run, to save his life. And this defense was built on the ability to set an edge in that 3-4 scheme. You can't have defensive ends. Max Crosby's run defense has just soared through the roof. And Unique Ngakoue would have been a huge liability in this 3-4 scheme, which is why you've seen the Jacksonville Jaguars move on from him from that 3-4 scheme. And also the Baltimore Ravens moved on from him in that 3-4 scheme as well. He just doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the ability to set a solid edge and be effective in run defense, something that I know Chandler Jones gets a lot of heat for, but Chandler Jones plays really efficiently when it comes to run defense and setting a good edge. He does all the little things that aren't sexy and flashy that the common fan is going to pick up on. So look, I get it. They did release some names. I'll say names. They're more names to me than the talent.
I will say his replacement in Jones hasn't lived up to the contract. We'll just add that. He hasn't lived up to that contract.
Yeah, and when I say that, I didn't mean it as in what he's getting paid is
Deserving.
is deserving. I'm just saying what the idea behind it was.
Right.
Trucker Mark says you're right for the JJ future contract. Highest paid running back is 12.4 in Dallas, so 70 million 4 to 5 years. That's more realistic.
Yep.
That's what I see.
Yep. And our mods, man, we got some action in the chat right now. So if you can make sure y'all can block that.
We got some thought bots. Please,
man, they over here.
Daniel Kim, do your thing, man. D Menace.
Mm-hmm.
That's just signs of good shows, bro. That's it.
For sure, man. But yeah, man, like we said, man, we're excited after the win, man. I'm hyped, man. I just seen a great game. Great. And you know what's funny? Like, I knew it too. I was like, man, I have a feeling like just seeing how like confident, even after the turnovers, like the interceptions by Carr, you could just see that the team they were fighting hard no matter what. It wasn't like turnover, like the team was just laying down. It's gonna be a blowout on the road against Seattle. Any other Raider teams in the past, we've seen that happen time and time again where it's just like, man, like on the road, the fans are going crazy and it's going to be a blowout. But that didn't happen, and that's a good sign for us as fans. It's a good sign for the coaching staff, the players, everybody. Everything is trending in the right direction. So, man, I'm hyped.
Give me your MVP of the game.
MVP obviously is going to be. Can I give co-MVPs?
Yeah. Address who obviously is the star of the show, but to not be so cliche about it, we already know where you're going with that one. Give me a player that stood out to you that was crucial in this game.
Okay. Okay. The obvious is Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
We both everybody can all agree the player of the game is Josh Jacobs. So we'll say somebody else just to make it. I'm gonna put Derek Carr on offense, and on defense, I'm gonna give Max Crosby.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna go defensive route. I was gonna go Max Crosby. I thought it was unbelievable in big time situations, third downs, even on a fourth down, the ability to get stops when you need them. And I mean, and it's obvious. The bull rush at the end of the game that he put on Abraham Lucas just sat him down.
We talked about that matchup. Matchup. Like, that's a matchup that Max Crosby could win. And look, the Raiders had a great game plan. They did everything that we talked about. They needed to stop the run. This is a team that the Seattle team, like a lot of their offensive, ability on offense is to be productive on the run game and able to like take advantage of one-on-ones with obviously DK Metcalf and the other wide receiver Lockett, who's a speedy guy. Who we still had issues with, but at the same time, we were able to like at least make plays, fight back, and put them in third and long situations. Hey, look, we pulled up the stats. They were 3 for 9 on third down. So the defense, they made some plays out there. I think that early on, there were some turnovers in the game that gave them a short field, and they were able to score. But they were able to fight, and that's all you can ask for. When you see a team out there, they're fighting. Hey, man, as a fan, you love it because that's what you want to watch. You want to see you want to see the team that you root for put on a show, put on a great game, I should say, and they did. They did it. So it was a fun game to watch, bro.
Fact. The team's hit another button when they've bought into playing for each other. Crosby had an interview where their lack of energy for each other was called out. They're bringing the juice now. Facts. You got to love when leaders step up and rally an organization. Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, all key essential cogs to the Raiders franchise, and they all stood up and rallied this locker room, which, man, you got to be extremely excited about. But everybody's saying MVP, Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby. I see a Derek Carr. Oh my gosh, this is ugly. Oh, that is an ugly comment to read.
Raiders. Wait, hold on. What did he say? Raiders country, let's ride.
Let's shut that down, man. Let's just shut that one down.
Come on, man.
Don't worry, it says Illuminor was great shutting down their best pass rusher. I've been saying it, man. I don't think Illuminor is bad. I mean, I don't ever have to come out and just consistently like defend him, because if you just turn on the tape, if you watch the film, it speaks for itself, man. I mean, the guy's not a top right tackle in the National Football League, but he's extremely serviceable. He's a starter in the NFL. So he's earned that route. I mean, who knows? I mean, he's on a 1-year deal as well.
Yeah, you think he's a starter in the NFL? Illuminor?
Yeah.
He does have his moments when he gets penalties. Like
Well, there was a point in time when Alex Leatherwood was a starting right tackle. There's a point in time when Brandon Parker was starting in the NFL. Jermaine Illuminor in this scheme and system is a starting right tackle in the NFL.
Man,
He's not top. He's not in the top, but he's average.
You're saying that if you had like the other positions taken care of, and he'd be like the. Would you say he's the strong point of that O-line, or like the weakest link on the O-line?
Oh, he's definitely not the weakest.
He's going to be one of the best O-linemen on the team.
I say it's Andre James.
No, not on this team. Just saying, just in general. Because you said that he's a starter.
I just think he's a plug and play starter who's gonna let up a sack here and there throughout the season. But dude, he's efficient in run blocking. When we have played premier pass rushers, he has stepped up.
He did step up last week too when he played left tackle on the pinch. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing. It's very hard to find a guy who can play right tackle, left tackle at a starting level. Everybody knows that he swung over to the left side. That's another pro team.
Right.
They threw the house on that side, and he held his ground. He also swings inside and plays guard. Like, it's hard to find guys that have that ability.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, look, man. Ray, we said that before the year started. Facts. Yeah, we did. But look, man, great show tonight. We just wanted to hop on, do a little post show. We are going to be doing a live show on Tuesday, so make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels and tune in. We were extremely excited about the Raiders picking up a dub against the Seattle Seahawks. Pharaoh, do you have any closing statements before we get out of here?
Hey, man, I just want to end it on
Just win, baby.
Hey, that's it. That's it, y'all.
That's it, baby. All right, man. Thank you guys for pulling up, spending the post-game show with us. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the win. We will see you guys Tuesday. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so you know when we go live. Typically, it's 9:30 every Tuesday and Saturday. But thank you guys for tuning in. On your way out, man, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate each and every single one of you. And as always,
just win, baby.